Hello, what's up? I'm Brian here doing another video for you guys, and this time a reviewer decided to reveal another Transformer toy, but I will link down in the description below an article so you can check out more of the images, and I'm just using the images as reference, but this is the Transformers Generations Legacy Velocitron, which, if you don't know, the Velocitron series is going to be a Walmart exclusive subline. This is Override based on her appearance in Transformers Cybertron, and I gotta say, I'm really excited for that because I love the Transformers Cybertron series. I know some people don't, and I totally get that, but it's one of the first series that I watched and I grew up with getting into Transformers, so I'm super thrilled that we're getting more into it. And to anyone saying that, well, Cybertron is terrible and this and that, I rewatched a lot of Generation 1, and a lot of that's not really holding up too well. I'm not saying it's bad, it's just it doesn't really hold up as well as I originally thought, so yeah, with some of these shows, they just don't really hold up over time, but, you know, it's still fun. I still like Transformers Cybertron, and I even like G1 to a point, so. Anyways, with that said, taking a look at the alt mode, I think she looks fantastic. This is apparently a new mold. It is not based on the Hot Rod that was speculated earlier, although she is about the same height as Hot Rod, despite being a Voyager class toy, and I'm not sure how I feel about that, because for certain toys, I get it with the functionality and the budget, you know, it does make sense. But for a figure like this, it just doesn't to me. I'm not seeing anything that really suggests that this is a Voyager class figure. I mean, with the Hot Rod, people say that, but he came with a bunch of accessories, and he's got, you know, some transformation bits that do have some complexity to it. And then he's also got all the gimmicks with the head and the hands and the matrix and whatnot, so does he bounce up to that Voyager price point? This just seems like a deluxe to me. Now, I'm not that upset by it because I feel like as far as scale is concerned, I think deluxe is fine. Even though I think a Voyager would be better, I think deluxe is okay. Just as long as she is somewhat taller or about the same height as this hotshot, which, by the way, cannot wait to partner up with that. And also, I do have this because, you know, I had to show that off. I love the Transformers Cybertron stuff, especially bringing that into Generations. Now, we are also getting the Metroplex, so that's going to work out with that. But one thing that I feel we're missing out is the Cyber Keys. Now, before you say, well, we don't need all the gimmicks and whatnot, and I totally understand that, even though I feel like the gimmicks were fine, and it would be okay to recreate that, just for the sake of having those Cyber Keys would be nice, because for the Override and Metroplex specifically, they came with a golden Cyber Key version, which was the important thing for part of the story. So, I feel like they kind of should have that, especially with Metroplex. I mean, the previous figure, the Arc, had the golden discs and all this other stuff, and Metroplex just comes with himself and then his weapon. I don't know. Anyways, despite that, you probably just want me to talk about Override. And I think the alt mode looks fantastic. It's definitely very clunky on the back, but I understand that because that's actually the weapon. And I like the storage on that because it reminds me of the original. I even like how the head is still sticking up on the top of the car because that was something of the original. And they even got the angle of the feet right. It almost looks like a Batmobile in just different colors. You know, if you paint this black, it is totally a Batmobile. But one thing that I will say I'm not a huge fan of is the canopy. I feel like that could have been a little bigger just going at the front, but considering what it does for the robot mode, I totally understand it, but maybe some transformation bit could somehow extend that, just personally. But I think overall, she looks fine. She seems to have transparent wheels, and I kind of like that because it kind of reminds me of some of those older, I don't know, Cybertron toys and, you know, Unicron Trilogy figures where they were trying different things with transparent wheels. I think overall she does look pretty good, and the gold trim looks appropriate as well, especially on the canopy. That looks nice. Taking a look at her in her robot mode, I think the proportions is much better here compared to the original toy, and I've only seen one person really say that everyone's basically an idiot for thinking that the original toy isn't as accurate as this one. But if you look at the proportions, this one's doing it a lot better. Now, I would like to see some paint in the knees, but really, that's my only complaint here, because you have so much black and gold, especially on the shoulders. I love the detailing there. And then the lower arms look nice. Again, I love how The legs have the off-angled wheels. That looks fantastic. The head sculpt looks wonderful to me. I love the gold on the face. I love how the canopy compresses into the chest like that. It looks fantastic. The transformation has a few tricks to it, so I do like that. And also, she does have the weapon on the backpack, and you can plug that on her hand, as well as flip out the gun. So even though you can't really attach a cyber key to it, it does have the arrow for it, so that's kind of funny. And at the very least, you can still bring those out, so that's cool. And she does have a porthole on top of the weapon, so you can attach more weapons onto that, so that's pretty cool. I'm also seeing maybe some blast effect components on the top there, but I could be entirely wrong on that. It could just be detailing. Again, the gold trim on the chest looks fantastic. I love that. I think she looks wonderful. And if I gotta be honest, this is the way that Generation should go moving forward if they're gonna do their Cybertron figures. Yeah, it doesn't come with the Cyber Key, and some of the other figures aren't gonna come with their gimmicky stuff, but when you look at this figure, it looks like an update to the original while still respecting the original, a lot like how some of the Beast Wars characters did it with the Kingdom line. So I think that moving forward, if they do stuff like this, I'm fine with that, because again, a lot of people don't seem to like that Metroplex because they don't feel like it really updates compared to the original or really outshines compared to the original. But this one has the articulation, it has the setup, it has the proportions right, it has pretty much everything right for this figure, and that was my biggest fear when I heard about Override. So I know this video is going a little long, I know I'm rambling a lot, but I'm just pumped. I'm super excited. Except for the fact that this is a Walmart exclusive, and usually those are pretty tricky to find out here, so I'm not sure how well that's going to go. And also another thing I wanted to point out is that there's a rumor that Road Hauler is going to have a different face. He's going to have a screaming face, which I think is true because the same person that said this said that Override was not going to be a remold of the Hot Rod, and well, that seems to be the case. So with that out of the way, what do you guys think? Please comment below, let me know. And I also want to ask, do you want to see more Unicron Trilogy figures? Because apparently the rumor coming out that, yeah, we're going to see more. We're going to see an Armada Starscream. We know about that. But next year, there's going to be more figures that are heavily based on the Unicron Trilogy. So do you want to see more like this? Do you think this is a good idea? Please let me know. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and all those fun doodads. And we'll see you guys next time.
AllSpark TV. Now that's just prime.